Hello everyone. Welcome to this lecture in the Git GitHub Masterclass. In the previous lecture, we looked about introduction to Git. In today's lecture, we are going to understand how does Git exactly enable version control. We are going to take a very simple problem and we are going to try to see why version control is needed and why Git is needed for this purpose. So let's get started with today's lecture. Imagine you are in this situation where you have met some collaborators or you're working with a group of friends and you decide that together you want to write a book together. Let's say this is a book on machine learning and all of you have different experiences, different expertise, and you decide that okay, why don't we work together to write an awesome book which will really improve the understanding of students and even professors. So you come up with this task and then you decide that okay, the way we are going to do it is that let's all write about different concepts and then finally we will merge the different things which we have written together and then the book creation will be done. You start out thinking that this process would be as simple as this, right? But let us soon see how difficult this becomes from a management perspective. From a technical perspective, you all have things sorted. All of you are experts in your specific domain and you get the writing started. So this is the workflow which I decide to follow. I decide that I want to create a folder which is called as book collaboration, which I create on my desktop, and I'll make different versions. So first I create this document called doc version 1, and here let's say I start writing something. So I'll double click on this document right now, and then let's say I start writing about machine learning introduction version 1, etc. So this, and then I save this document. As I work on different versions, I'll have version 2, I'll have version 3, and I'll have version 4. That's fine. So if I were the only person working on this project, I can track the different versions which I have and then just choose the final version as the final draft of the book. But here's where the problem starts happening. So you have five more people who are working on this project, right? And let's say you want to see the updates of what someone else is working on. What would you do next? What would you do is that you will probably write an email to them saying that, hey, the name of the person, can you send me the latest draft of what you have been working on? So after the person receives your email, they'll probably respond in 1 or 2 days and they send you a copy of the draft which they are working on. So then you make another folder here, which is person 2. Then you make a folder person 3. You make another folder person 4. And then you make the final folder, which is person 5. And probably one more, which is person 6. In each of these folders, you now create separate documents. So if you have uh, the first document for what this person has shared with you on email, you put this in this folder, you double click on this document and you start reading. And then to your surprise, you notice that they have also added a section in what you have been working on. So then that leads to another issue, right? So then you draft another email to them saying that, hey, I have already written this. Uh, then this leads to an issue. Then the email chain will keep on proceeding. But now this problem is even worse because you have three, four, five, six more people to manage. You want to see what they have been working on. You want to compare what they have been working on with what you have been working on, and with that you also have to manage your version of the work. So as you yourself are making different versions, you also have to keep track of what other people have been working on and what the different versions are of what these people have been working on. So there are so many issues here, right? The first issue is that there is no centralized place where the current copy of the book is. Everyone seems to be working on different things, and so let's say when you wake up on a particular day, you don't have a copy that okay, this is where the book stands right now. You have no clue what others have been working on. You have probably sent emails to 2 to 3 people and you're yet to hear from them. So the first problem is the management of the project itself. There is no centralized place where the current version of the project is. The second problem is time. You email back and forth, and it's not a good way to communicate. And the third problem is the version itself. You don't know the versions of what people have been working on and how that fits in with your version. And as a collaborator, you really want to solve all these problems, right? You want a centralized place where the entire project is at any given moment. You want to see what different people have been working on at any moment without sending emails to them. And you want to see a history of the changes which people have made in the document. You even want to add comments. Instead of emailing a person saying that, hey, your draft looks good, you maybe want to leave some comments on what they can change. And you want all of these things to happen in one single place instead of emailing people back and forth. This is where actually Git comes into the picture. So, as I have written here, there are many problems. Each person has their own ideas and contributions to make. They start by emailing drafts back and forth, and soon you realize that managing these versions is becoming very cumbersome and it's so confusing. It's very easy to lose track of the latest version, and sometimes changes which are made by you might be overwritten by someone else because of this communication gap. So, although all of you are pretty strong technically, there are some big management issues which serve as roadblocks to your project. And this keeps on delaying the timeline in which you can realistically finish this project. This is where Git and GitHub really come into the picture. Git allows every person to have a complete copy of the project on their own computer. So there is one main copy which exists, and then everyone has a copy of their project on their own computer. So here I've shown six people. Six people at any given time can have the copy of the latest version of the book on their computer. And these six people, there will be one central place where the current version of the project will be stored. That central place will be hosted on github.com, and then all the six people can have copies on their own machine. That makes it extremely easy to track changes, collaborate, and merge their work seamlessly. How do you start? You start by setting a git storage space, which is called as a github repository. And then, so this is on cloud. This is a website for the, that is the place where, that's the centralized location where the current version of the book is stored. And then every person downloads this repository. When I say repository, you can think of it as the project which you have been working on. When you download the repository, you not only get the main version of the project, you also get information about what other people have been working on and what the current changes are which they have implemented. So you can do all this without emailing different people, and you will also see a history of the changes people have made in their own versions. So instead of emailing drafts, people can just make changes to the central repository which I've shown over here, and everyone else can see that central repository. So, for example, if there is a author named Alice, Alice writes a chapter and names it as chapter one. Bob writes the introduction and names it as introduction, and both of them can be working on different versions. Git allows people to work on different versions and still maintain all of these different versions in the same GitHub repository. I'll show you how that is done. No need to worry about that right now. Not only that, Git also provides a clear history of all the changes. So let me give you a simple example. No need to worry about what this interface is, what's really going on here. There are so many things on the screen. But here's an example of a real life book collaboration for a machine learning project. And here you can see that 69 contributors are working on this project. So this is a much larger example compared to the six people working which we saw. 69 people have been contributing to this book, and this is a book on machine learning systems. There are several interesting things which I want to show you here. Git has this system called branches. So here you can see there are different branches which you can think of as different versions created by people. So let's say there is someone working on the glossary, someone working on the student feedback chapter, someone working on another chapter. What you see on the screen right now, this is the main project, which is that live project at the current moment. So if I get up one day and I want to see what's the latest status of my book, I just see this current status. If I want to see what people have been working on, I can just go to any particular branch. These are called branches, which are different versions of what people have been working on, and see what different people have been doing. Not only that, I can even see the history of changes. So here's the readme file, right? Readme file is basically this section over here, and I want to see what are the changes, what is the history of changes in this readme file. So whatever you see over here has not been written by one person and has not been written at one time. It has been contributed by multiple people over a period of time. So I can even see the history of changes. So let me click on this readme file. If I click on this readme file right now, uh, yeah, right over here, if I, yeah, I've clicked on the readme file over here, and you see you can click on the history icon over here. And when you click on the history, you will see the changes. So you'll see that James made a change 13 hours ago. So you can click on this and see the changes which James made. That's awesome, right? You can see what people have changed over the entire history of this document readme.md, and you can do that for every single file out there. Through this, there are multiple contributors have contributed to writing this book. This would have been impossible to do without Git and GitHub. That's what is meant by version control. So now we can have different versions and still have a main centralized location where every single thing is stored. This is why Git and GitHub is used. It just makes collaboration very easy. It makes version control very easy. And you can even keep a track of different the history of the changes people have made. So you can, let's say, go to the changes people want to implement, and then you can even see files which people have changed recently. I'm deliberately doing it fast because I don't want you to understand every single thing over here. We will understand how Git exactly operates soon, but right now, I just want to bring to your attention the amount of awesome things which we can do using Git, which would have been impossible if you did not learn about this tool. As you can see, this this repository, this is called a repository because it's this current project on machine learning systems that has 900 stars, which means that it's a very popular GitHub repository. So if you are working on any collaborative tasks such as collaborative coding, writing a book, or anything which involves files and multiple people, you really have to learn Git. And this is what we are going to start doing next in the next lectures. Thank you so much, everyone. I look forward to seeing you in the next lecture where we will be covering setting up the GitHub account, GitHub repository, and then we'll install Git. Thank you so much.